Welcome to my channel Grow Joyfully. This is the final video in the 6-part series on Bokashi composting in urban context. In this video, I demonstrate the second technique that I follow in stage 2 of Bokashi composting, that of rejuvenating old potting mix using the Bokashi pickle in containers in which I grow plants. Soil factory technique. This term itself is a misnomer because we are not producing any new soil. Instead, we are going to replenish old potting mix or old soil by layering it with the Bokashi pickle. The layering is typically done in a bin with holes indoor. Now I'll demonstrate an adaptation of this technique where I layer the Bokashi pickle directly in the containers in which I grow plants. I take 2 Bokashi bins. The filling up got completed in the first week of February. Today is 23rd February, so they have rested for 2 weeks. Both bins are around 60% fill. One is abundantly filled with white mold. The other one hardly has any mold. I see 100% anaerobic ambience in both, and they smell strongly like vinegar. So I'm not worried about this absence of white mold. In the Bokashi bin, I can make out what vegetables I have put because the organic stuff has not changed its shape or structure, but quite a lot of chemical reactions have taken place. I used 20-liter paint containers in my terrace garden, and I've taken 5 of them today for layering purposes. At the bottom of my containers, I place old twigs and some dried leaves for about 2 inches depth. Now I commence the layering. We place the old potting mix for about 2 inches. Now we spread the pickle uniformly for about an inch, and we ensure that the potting mix touches the entire pickle. Again we place the old potting mix for about 2 inches, followed by 1 layer of pickle. We repeat this once again. So we have placed the pickle thrice in a 20-liter paint container. Here I am demonstrating layering. You may even mix the pickle and the old potting mix up front, maintaining the same ratio, and then placing the mix in the bin. In the end, always ensure that you put more old potting mix at the top, say for about 3 to 4 inches. The pickle is very smelly and it will attract a lot of rodents, and hence this measure. Also, we ensure that we place a lot of mulching material on the top, and I usually put dried leaves for about 2 inches. I always find the Bokashi bins to be about 60% filled with pickle after the resting period. So I use the Bokashi pickle to do layering in 5 20-liter containers. Essentially 2 Bokashi bins for 5 20-liter containers. It takes less than 10 minutes with 2 of us doing the job once we have all the items ready. And I do not add any other supplements at this stage. I keep the bins in partial shade or shade if possible, but sometimes I keep it under direct sun too. I keep the top surface moist by spraying 100 to 200 ml of water every day. I recommend waiting for a minimum of 2 to 3 weeks before you sow the seeds, but I usually wait for a month or a month and a half before I sow the seeds. Direct sowing does not call for any stirring. You may just proceed to sowing of seeds 2 to 3 weeks after direct layering. I am going to dump the contents of one of the containers. You will not be doing this at all in real life. I am doing this only to show you the level of decomposition that has happened in just about 10 days. As you can see here, the top 2 layers of pickle have decomposed well. At the bottom, the pickle is still remaining. There are big pieces like orange rits, which are going to take more time to decompose. Had I cut the rinds into smaller sizes, they also would have decomposed pretty fast. All I can say is that I see about 20% of the pickle yet to be decomposed, And this is mainly because I did not cut the kitchen waste into tiny pieces. I place the contents back into the container. I'll wait for about 2 to 3 weeks more before I do any sowing. To compare and contrast the two techniques that I demonstrated, I used aerobic decomposition with dry leaves. I get compost the way I get in aerobic composting and add a handful of this compost in each container in my garden. When I use direct layering, I use the entire contents of 2 bokashi bins for 5 containers. Direct layering of bokashi pickle is extremely convenient and easy for an urban gardener like me. But is it a complete rejuvenator? Does it result in a very well balanced potting mix? I do not know about this because it all depends on what kind of kitchen waste went inside in stage 1. Sometimes I put a mix of vegetables and fruits, sometimes I put only veggies, sometimes I put only fruit peels. So I'm not able to say that I get 100% well balanced potting mix with all the nutrition that is required for plants. But I rely more on observation. In the initial stages of growth of saplings, I definitely see a very rapid growth. So I definitely see that the saplings get an initial booster start. Subsequently, depending on the observations I make on the growth of the sapling, I add nutrition in solid form like oil cakes, Ganajivamrita, Epsom salt, and other kind of major and minor amendments. And I also spray Panchakavya and Jivamrita regularly. I apply lab cocoa butter milk, and I also spray fermented fruit juice before the fruiting stage. Thank you for watching my video. I wish you a very enjoyable, joyful Bokashi composting journey. I will soon be posting 2 videos on troubleshooting Bokashi composting and also one on how I make Bokashi bran at home. Have a great day.